think I told you last week about those items
Yes.
that were done. Did you see? Yeah. They're saying that the prosecutor's office recommended it when I went. Yeah.
I saw that. I heard that.
Yeah.
Minutes later.
Yeah.
You guys want to do the prayer? Sure. Okay, everybody rise, please. Please join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bow your heads. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Thank you.
Okay, there will be no public workshop next Tuesday due to a schedule conflict with Commissioner Cantalasa and myself. And the next regular meeting will be Wednesday, September 20th, here in this room at 10:30 a.m. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Here.
Ms. Frenchco.
Here.
Mr. Malloy.
Here.
Oh.
The first thing I'd like to do is if I get everybody to join the commissioners and myself in a moment of silence. We lost an employee this past week in the clerk of courts. Robin Lorai. It's with deep sadness and heavy hearts we inform you of the passing of our colleague and friend Robin Lorai, who passed away on September 4th. Robin has been suffering with a prolonged illness in recent years. We thank and commend Robin and her family for dedicated years of service with the county. And if you could please join me in a moment of silence observing Robin, her family, friends, and co-workers during this difficult time. Thank you. Okay, item number one.
Okay, item number one is to dispense with reading the minutes of the regular meeting dated September 7th, 2023, and accept and approve the video recording of the September 7th, 2023 Commissioners' regular meeting as the official meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
No.
Item number two is to approve the bills.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number three is to approve additional appropriations.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
The sheriff and the election board were those additional appropriations? Because one of them said it looked like it was a transfer. There was a note that said in order to pay bills. Understand that. And it doesn't match the amended certificate, which reflects typically the additional appropriations. Okay. No, because I would vote yes on the first three, but the last two I'm uncertain of. Doesn't appear based on the information that I had, it looked like it was to pay bills and it was a transfer.
Okay, item number 4 is to transfer appropriations.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 5 is to receive the amended certificate of the county budget number 18-2023.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 6 is to establish the renaming of Fund 957 to Integrated Harm Reduction Grant for use by the Trumbull County Combined Health District. The Combined Health District is receiving funds from the Ohio Department of Health totaling $151,000 for use in funding this program.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 7 is to authorize the Board of Commissioners clerk to advertise for letters of interest for engineering services for the 2024 through 2026 Trumbull County Annual Bridge Inspection Program.
Motion to approve?
Second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 8 is to approve change order number 1 final with Carrilla Contractors, Inc. for the construction of Part 1 plus alternate number 1 TRU First 2022 Countywide Road Improvements Project. Change order number 1 final resulted in a decrease of $142,619.23 to the contract. Change order number 1 is recommended by the county engineer to adjust the contract to reflect final quantities of the project. The revised contract amount will therefore be $1,277,134.02.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 9 is to award the only bid submitted by U.S. Bridge, Division of Ohio Bridge Corporation for Trumbull County's 2022 Bridge Rehab Program. The program consists of the purchase of the steel for the superstructures for the Brookfield number 2B, Orangeville Village number 2, and the Warren number 12 bridges in the amount of $361,814.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 10 is to concur with the county engineer to grant the special hauling permit to haul steel coils.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 11 is to concur with the county engineer to grant the right-of-way permits requested by the companies listed.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 12 is to concur with the county engineer to grant the special annual supplier fleet permits by the companies listed.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 13 is to authorize the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners to join with the Trumbull County Prosecuting Attorney to file an application with the Court of Common Pleas for the appointment of Attorney Matthew J. Blair as legal counsel for the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners and the Trumbull County Sanitary Engineers Department for the purpose of collecting unpaid assessments, bills owed by customers and or ratepayers.
Who's been doing that to date? Has that been happening to date? Has that already been happening, or is this just not?
This is Bob Myrano, Sanitary Engineers. Probably a year and a half ago, the board appointed Michael Frederica to do it for us, and he had since left the county, so it hasn't been getting done.
Well, it shouldn't, the reason why Michael Frederica was doing it is because he's an employee of the county prosecutor's office who is assigned to the board of, or I'm sorry, to the sanitary engineers to perform work, which we reimburse them for. So now there's a new employee assigned that I believe is still coming out of your budget. Am I incorrect or am I correct?
You are incorrect.
So they are no longer,
We pay nothing to the prosecutor's office at this point.
so they are, okay.
So
So since Michael Frederica left, there's not been anyone else assigned whose full
correct,
salary is being invoiced.
correct.
That was stopped. Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Sure.
A motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 14 is to accept the resignation of Mr. Gino Chicolo from his position of TV Inspector / Grouting Assistant Technician with the Trumbull County Sanitary Engineers Department effective September 22nd, 2023.
Motion to approve?
I'll second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 15 is to approve the grant agreement addendum for the fiscal years 2024 and 2025 Community-Based Corrections Program Subsidy Grant Agreement, CCA 2.0, in the amount of $65,896, increasing the total amount of the grant agreement from $2,545,269 to $2,611,165.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 16 is to authorize the Trumbull County Planning Commission Director Julie Green to prepare and submit the Ohio Water Pollution Control Loan Fund Program Year 2024 HSTS project nomination / application forms to the Ohio EPA that are required for receiving funding through the Home Sewage Treatment System, HSTS Reserve Fund, and to authorize Denny Malloy, President of the Board of Commissioners, to execute all documents.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Discussion. This is something that I'm glad there are a lot of people in that area that were requesting that we do something to help them. And I'm very happy that this is the first time we've ever done something like this. And I believe it was a good use of funds to help people who ended up in a problem that was there before any of us got here. So I'm just happy that this is finally moving forward.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 17 is to award price proposal and enter into an agreement with MS Consultants, Inc. to provide professional engineering services as detailed in the attached exhibits for the purposes of conducting certain floodplain related studies and reports as required by FEMA for properties found to be non-compliant with the requirements of the National Flood Insurance Program in accordance with the Trumbull County Special Purpose Flood Damage Reduction Regulations in the amount of $267,383.42, and to authorize the Board of County Commissioners to enter into an agreement and with any related documents.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 18 is to approve an agreement between the Board of County Commissioners, the Trumbull County Planning Commission, and the Regional Chamber, and authorize Julie M. Green, the Director, in accordance with Ohio Revised Code, Section 307.07B3, to execute the agreement for economic development services for the period commencing September 8th, 2023, and continuing for a period of 12 months. The Trumbull County's share for the contract will be $45,000, paid in 4 equal installments of $11,250.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
No.
Item number 19 is to award a contract to Boak and Son, Inc. for the Trumbull County Planning Commission Building Roof Replacement Project funded through the American Rescue Plan Fund in the amount of $325,209 for the A-1 Single Ply EPDM roof system and authorize the Board of Commissioners to enter into a contract agreement with Boak and Son.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Abstain.
Okay, item number 20 is to receive and place on file the May, June, and July 2023 monthly financial reports for the Trumbull County Tourism Bureau.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 21 is to rescind the journal action. Item number 27 dated 9/7/2023, volume 157, page 25956, to authorize the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners Clerk to advertise for sealed bids for the furnishing of all labor material and equipment necessary for and incidental to the renovation of an existing building for the roof replacement and asbestos removal for the county engineer's garage located in Cortland.
I'd like to make a motion for this. Because it was my recommendation, and last week, there was a great deal of debate surrounding this. I indicated that it was not on the agenda correctly. There was a conflict between what was on the agenda, what our maintenance director said, and I was mocked by my board members. And it's nice to see that after I brought it to the clerk's attention and the prosecutor's office, that they recommended to do what I suggested, which should have, but I'm sure that
You did not suggest this. I asked you for an alternate agenda item last week and you didn't provide one. You just wanted to table it for a week.
I wanted to find out more information, and then afterwards I took the paperwork to the clerk and gave her the instruction to put it on as a rescission because it needed to be done the right way as a design build, and that's what happened. So thank you. Maybe you take, if you
Well,
take my
how do you
advice
explain
on
me
there.
going to Bill Hart afterwards and then contacting the prosecutor about it? I mean, it doesn't matter. As long as we fix it and move forward.
It was brought to your attention after I took it to the clerk, and the clerk said she has
That's
to
incorrect.
contact the
That's
rest.
incorrect.
Include additional
That's incorrect.
documents, and I took it down to the
And you
prosecutor.
said
That's
you needed
incorrect.
to talk to the board because you were getting ready to put it out for bid, and I stopped you from doing it. And
No.
yeah, I did. So
So the bid was correct. We got a
the
lesson yesterday from Mike
Yeah.
Slawinski. The bid was worded
And that's the
correctly.
problem.
It didn't match this.
We
That's
as
all.
The county, you guys want to argue and argue and argue that we don't need an county administrator, yet you go to these meetings and you accept their advice blindly without doing due diligence to determine if what our department heads are telling you is correct.
So you want to add another level of
No,
individual to
seriously.
tell you something blindly?
If you want to act as an administrator, then you need to be an administrator and find out if what they're saying is correct. That's exactly what I did. And
Okay.
there's been at least a dozen to 24 items on the agenda this year alone that had to be rescinded because the board would not take my advice at the meeting. So
There's a motion on the floor.
There's a motion on the floor. Yep. And a second.
Motion to rescind, I'll second it.
yes, it's being rescinded because of my due diligence.
It's not true.
Okay.
Take a bow. Let's move on.
What I
Let's
could-
move on.
Here's what I could have done. Let me just.
You're wasting more time explaining it than we are in fixing a one little clerical error. Let's move on.
Little clerical error.
Uh,
What I could have done was not brought it up at all, let it slip under the radar and reported it to the auditors as a error.
And it would not have been a
You didn't
finding.
even
I already
know
asked the
what it was last
prosecutor's
week.
office.
You didn't even know what the error was. And you're acting like you told us to do what to do. You didn't.
See, this is the beauty of what we do here. If we do something wrong, we fix it. That's fine.
Yep. Humans make
You
mistakes.
know-
We move on with it. You can't point the finger at everyone that makes a mistake.
And last
Like
week
you knew
could've-
everything because you
last week it
didn't.
could have been corrected, and you with the,
No, it wasn't going to be corrected. You wanted to table it, not correct it. It wouldn't have been corrected last week. It would have been right here today, just like we're doing now.
No.
If we had your way last week, yes, it would have been.
Just move
It
on.
could have.
Okay, so
Just
for
read it.
item
The
20,
staff did not even provide
21.
any of the commissioners last
Come on.
week with a copy
21.
of anything. So they voted on something that was incorrect, incongruent with the process that was about to take.
We're voting
place.
on a posting of something in the paper.
Okay,
We weren't voting on curing cancer. We're voting on posting something in the newspaper correctly.
it would have been an error in procurement.
Okay.
It was
No, it
posted
wouldn't.
correctly in the
I
paper.
asked the prosecutor, that's
Well,
not true.
then why are we rescinding it? Okay,
Because it would have been correct the way we wrote it, but actually
Wasn't.
what we did in the paper was correct. It's
Yes.
just the language of the resolution
Right.
was wrong by one word.
it was a design build. It wasn't a request for sealed bids because that's what I asked to review was the bid.
That's what we
document.
said. There was a
There were no
word that
bids.
was
There was a
different.
word wrong.
Word.
There were no bids. Bill Hart stood up here and said, we're going out for a request for qualifications. It was clearly incongruent. There was no request for qualifications. So it was evident, but you still proceeded. And that's the level of blind management that
okay, item
Let's-
that
25,
occurs here. It's terrible.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes,
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Okay, then item 22 is to authorize the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners Clerk to advertise for statements of qualifications for the design build roof replacement and asbestos removal for the Trumbull County Engineers Garage located in Cortland.
motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes,
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 23 is to rescind the journal action. Item number 28 dated 9/7/2023, volume 157, page 25956, to authorize the Board of County Commissioners Clerk to advertise for sealed bids for the furnishing of all labor, material, and equipment necessary for and incidental to the renovation of the stone building.
motion to rescind.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes,
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Item number 24 is to authorize the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners Clerk to advertise for professional qualifications for the renovation of the Trumbull County Stone Building.
motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes,
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms.
I'm
Frenchco.
gonna ask that you slow down a little bit because since you added to and changed the agenda and I only got it today, at this point, it's off for me, okay? And in the future, when the agenda gets changed, please give it to me.
Okay, I'll take the roll again for 24. Mr. Cantala Mesa.
yes,
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 25 is to grant permission to the county engineer to close the road listed.
motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa.
Yes,
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 26 is to approve or deny that the Cortland City Number 3 Bridge, SFN 7840144, be renamed the Vietnam Memorial Bridge in honor of PFC Andrew Sinchak Jr. and SP4 Terrence Went, both Lakeview graduates that were killed in action.
you vote on this. Do we have anyone here representing the city of Cortland or the families? Anyone at all or the veterans? Okay, I didn't know if we did. I make a motion to approve. We held a public hearing prior to this.
Second that.
Thank you.
And
We held,
discussion. Good.
thank you. We held a public hearing prior to that and the level of service here in Trumbull County, military service is unparalleled, I think, than other counties. We have more Purple Heart recipients than just about any other county in the state. So I want to say thank you to all our veterans. Bob Marino Senior, who does a great job with these bridge renames. He sort of leads the charge and now he's with our Veteran Service Commission. Does a phenomenal job and he's responsible for all these. He does all the legwork. And obviously to the families of the Sinchak and Went families and memorializing their service in Trumbull County, we certainly appreciate it. So this is a very appropriate thing to do in the city of Cortland.
I second that. And that's one of the most honorable things I think we could do as commissioners. And I hate to do it, but you do it all the time, Commissioner Frenchco. That's the second time we've honored people killed in action that were veterans, where we had the honorable thing the commissioners get to do in the renaming. and having the public hearing that you did not attend. It was right before this event. I wish you would have been there so we could have had a unanimous, but from the three of us, we also renamed a bridge in Brookfield a couple months ago. Again, you did not attend. So that I wish for the next one that comes up, the next serviceman, the next time we honor the military, I implore you and urge you and ask you from the bottom of my heart, please attend these things to show respect unanimously from our board.
Okay, as the only veteran on the board, I want to say that I have absolute respect and I'm grateful for the fact that our Veteran Service Commission goes above and beyond to rename these, but some of us have scheduling conflicts and you have them yourself. You guys voted on something last week, which you didn't even want to review because neither of you can come in on a Friday to have a meeting to review something before you voted on it. And in fact, next week you're canceling the workshop as you have done in the past on a regular basis. So that being said, some of us have scheduling conflicts and I have one today where I'm supposed to be somewhere else at the same time, but I'm here. And I had one yesterday, but I was here until midnight, making sure that I was reviewing everything before I voted. So are we voting or
Yes.
calling the roll?
Mr. Cantala
Okay.
Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
The next item number 27. I'll entertain a motion to enter an executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 12122 G1 to consider the discipline of one sanitary engineer public employee.
So I will make that motion to enter into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22, excuse me, G1, to consider the discipline of one sanitary engineer public employee. Is there a second?
Second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
I have to tear the top off. I was unaware of that.
You're right.
as well.
No problem. Thank you. You're all surprised things that time.
Okay. I'll make a motion to reconvene from executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G1 to consider the discipline of one sanitary engineer public employee.
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Item number 29 is to approve the personnel action for a 3-day unpaid suspension of an employee of the Trumbull County Sanitary Engineers Department. The employee violated the Trumbull County Policy and Procedure Manual. The employee will serve the suspension from Monday, September 18th to Wednesday, September 20th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session again pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G1 to consider the discipline of one building maintenance public employee.
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
No.
Really?
Okay, this time make a motion to, make a motion to reconvene from executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G1 to consider the discipline of one building maintenance public employee. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Yes.
Okay, item 32 is to approve the last chance agreement inclusive of a 5-day unpaid suspension of an employee of the Trumbull County Building Maintenance Department. The employee violated the Trumbull County Policy and Procedure Manual. The employee will serve the suspension from Monday, September 18th through Friday, September 22nd, 2023.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. I've noticed, and I just want to assert for the record, my dissent relative to the unequal application of discipline and investigation in Trumbull County.
You agree with the employee violating policy and admitting to it, and you still want to not do anything about it?
You're conflating the two things. You need to vote on this thing right here. It's a clear infraction
Yes, it
that's
is.
been admitted to
It is.
and not challenged by the union.
It is.
You want to go against the collective bargaining agreement where the union even signed off on this and just disregard their finding also?
It wasn't their finding, but let me just be clear. We had an employee who acknowledged to falsifying paperwork and she's getting a last chance agreement. We have other employees in the commissioner's office who have violated policy in order to obtain certain benefits.
Commissioner, we're not going to
We're not going to get into this. If you want to do this
Bring
in
up
executive session, we can
allegations that
do
are
that.
baseless, that a majority of the board did not
That-
find any findings on. It's
There-
baseless nonsense that you're bringing out to try to smear, harass, and intimidate employees, some of which have lawsuits against you. So we're not going to do this in this format.
No,
Let's move
I-
forward.
I am-
You can grandstand your own press conference to your
I am
attorney.
permitted to-
This has nothing to do with
I am
county
permi- I am
business.
I am permitted to discuss this.
And I warned you once before, you're going to harass an employee. You're trying to torment and intimidate an employee by what you're doing right now. And that is going to be illegal. And you're going to have findings against it, which is going to cost us more money on top of the $500,000 you've cost us already. So I'd ask you to please zip it and keep it for some other place.
Okay, so I will get back to my statement relative to this and the reason for my dissent. There are some county employees and certain populations for which they do not watch them on camera. There is no surveillance review. There is no investigation. I have brought it to HR's office attention and to the board's attention of misconduct that I have seen firsthand. I've asked to review surveillance and been denied access to that. I've asked for office employees to be disciplined for one of the things is the exact same violation here. However, certain populations are not investigated, certain populations are not.
What are certain
disciplined.
populations? Explain that. What are you saying? Say it exactly in clear English. What are you alleging?
I believe that it's appropriate for the county commissioners to apply discipline equally and to investigate equally and not just.
There's no investigation here.
There
This
was
is
an
a clear
investigation.
cut violation.
And
It
there
was
was-
brought to a supervisor. It's on camera. The person
Yes.
has admitted to the infraction.
Yes.
The union has signed off on the infraction. Either you're voting yes on this or no.
And
If you
Sarah-
vote no, I have to question your relationship to this person.
I don't know who this person is, but I do know that there's a pattern that I've noticed of the county ignoring misconduct by some that is the exact same, and then pressure.
That
and
is
then
your opinion,
It's your opinion.
Commissioner.
You're
That
absolutely.
is your opinion.
I have.
You have two
it is-
commissioners that are saying that's otherwise and an HR director.
It's absolutely documented that our secretary has done a very similar thing, that our office, commissioner's office staff has violated similar policies, but. we-
How?
How?
Don't just throw all, if you're gonna come with something, come with it, bring it.
Okay.
Don't bring allegations, don't bring falsehoods. You want to state it as you see factual. And then we'll let the public decide. You're
Thank
not
you-
gonna sit up
thank you for
here.
that.
Go ahead.
Thank you for that. There is an occasion when Dawn Gideon came into work and worked immediately on her personal lawsuit against the Board of Commissioners, right after clocking in. That
Again,
was from
these
8
are
to 7. No,
allegations
hang on
and
a-
assumptions. You have to
You
stop.
want me to say it? I'm gonna say it.
Oh, no,
It was-
that's
it
your
was-
choice.
it was
You
a-
want to step in it, you want to show how ignorant you are inside, you do that yourself.
It was
I'm
a-
just telling you,
it-
your own
The
choice.
policy says that the 15-minute rest period is not permitted to be used for a late start or an early quit. She clocked in and immediately began emailing her lawyer, which ended up coming back to the county. She was not disciplined. However, this young lady has done something. One of the things was the
She's
same.
done it 5 times.
Okay, so we didn't even investigate it when it was a certain person, but another.
You want to
Because you're making allegations that aren't true.
You and she won.
To be equal, we need to apply rules, policies, laws equally in accordance with our policy, with the collective bargaining agreement and the Ohio Civil Rights Commission. I'm just concerned with the potential for liability if it is evident. And I have actually asked for access to surveillance to monitor and look at our employees.
Commissioner, we've asked
To
you a
surveil
hundred things,
the
you're not
employees,
complied. You have over 25 freedom of information requests that date back 2 years ago. You haven't complied with one of them yet from the public.
And you haven't
And you
even
want us
stated
to-
why you're
to
not
listen to
complying
you?
with them.
Okay, that speaks to my point hugely.
You, the one that walks
Yes.
around the metal detector when you come in here because you don't think you need to
That
abide by
speaks to-
policies.
Then I will explain, and that speaks to my point tremendously. We have people who are responsible as custodians of public records who are failing to perform their work, yet they are not being investigated or looked at nor written up or anything of the sort. But other certain people, the county is extremely punitive with. And so I just wanted to assert my dissent with what I have witnessed being a commissioner over the last few years. Thank you.
We're extremely punitive with people that admit to 3 infractions.
Right.
Their union is waived off on it. We've seen the evidence
not
with
saying that it's
photos of it
I'm
where the
not,
person is egregiously leaving early. And this is the
not
precedent you
saying
want to
it's-
set.
I'm not saying it's not wrong.
I'm
but
talking about
last-
this agenda item. This is
You're
the
not saying
precedent
it's
you
not
want to
wrong,
set.
but I'm voting no.
So
But
I guess
last-
if you vote
but it
no,
needs to
everybody
be-
can do that,
it
right,
needs to be-
Commissioner?
It needs to be equally applied. We also had
But in
that,
order to do that, you have to
Yeah.
start with this agenda item,
we also,
correct?
we should have been starting with the people.
So if you want it equally applied, the
You wanna
next
talk over
discipline,
me?
yes,
Okay.
the next time
you do.
this one comes before us, we shall vote no to be equally applied. Because you're voting.
Because you're
no on
voting
this one.
no. That's quite a
So
precedent
Next
we're
5-day
setting.
suspension, we all vote no. Is that what you want? To follow your lead to be equally applied?
Do I get my chance to
Ye-
talk now? Okay, President?
Now you can talk again.
Okay, so, there has been a problem even as recently as last week with the supervisor of that shift of the young woman who's being disciplined, violating the policy on numerous occasions, and the board told him that it was okay for him to consistently violate the dress
you
code,
talking about?
creating a safety hazard. Yet last week, we had Mr. Hart standing there and I brought that up publicly.
When he was talking about it was more than 90 degrees outside, and an afternoon shift worker wore shorts. Is that a violation of our policy?
It absolutely is. There's a dress code.
You know what else
policy,
is a
and it
violation
go-
of the
there's
policy
a-
is
there-
you wearing
stop
open-toed shoes.
Stop interrupting.
That's a
me.
violation of the policy. So where, follow the policies yourself. If you want to enforce these
Okay,
policies,
enough
follow
of
the
your
policies
gaslighting
yourself.
and deflection.
No,
there-
that's, I'm
there-
talking about you and what you do.
Okay, so, no.
I mean,
you don't
apply it
understand.
equally then.
So again, that is a workers' comp claim waiting to happen when you have
So is
someone.
yours.
So are your open-toed shoes.
So are
So
yours.
is swinging a hammer and almost killing me.
Have the
So is
ability.
throwing water on
No,
individuals.
I don't have the ability to even, I'm not an employee. I don't even have the ability to file a complaint. If I were able to file an OCRC complaint, please. You all.
Hey, can
you
we
all know
move
what
forward now?
happened.
Are you done grandstanding? Is the nonsense done?
We're gonna set a precedent that we're not gonna do this with anybody else. either.
Nonsense done.
Yes.
Terrible, terrible, terrible.
Okay, so
Wow.
for item 32, the vote.
I think it
Mr.
should have been
Cantala
progressive
Mesa.
discipline. It should have been.
It is, it's a last chance agreement.
There was no previous discipline. There was no progressive. It was just a last chance agreement. Because it went straight to, okay.
Because it was egregious.
And
By
the union
the
didn't
union-
grieve it
and the
because
union-
we were in
And the
accordance with
union agreed it was egregious. I think you're working for,
Offenses in our office that have never been investigated because there are certain populations that get looked at a little more strictly. Okay. Okay.
Unfair, that is untrue.
Okay.
I will not stand for that.
Okay. Okay. Don't stand for it then. Do better.
You didn't have anything at all to say about certain populations with the last person we just suspended 10 minutes ago, did you?
That
Not
was-
one word.
it's pick and choose.
No. It was there's a difference between when you clock out and someone drinking and potentially having a
No.
CDL. and-
Why are you bringing that up?
Okay, so. Do not talk to me like that, Miss Alex. Okay,
Personnel issues you
down.
cannot bring
Be
up when it
quiet.
was in executive session. That's correct.
He is sitting down.
yeah. Okay, 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 okay.
She doesn't care. She doesn't care how broke we're gonna be next year. Okay, let's take the vote, please.
Applying discipline,
Mr.
recommending
Cantala
equal
Mesa.
application. of
Yes.
discipline.
Mr. Malloy.
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Only because I don't believe the discipline is applied equally in Trumbull County. That's the only reason, and I just want to vote no.
You're applying it unequally right here.
Right. That's a
Not even
very
inve-
big
not even
disservice to the county.
investigated. I can't even get anyone to investigate one of these office ladies.
You've
for
had
real.
6 investigations by the sheriff's department, all of which were
I
unfounded.
think the courts investigated by allowing 2 lawsuits to be found in their
Okay.
favor.
No, there were no
Okay.
dispositions, so I would have loved to go to trial.
Okay, that concludes our regular business for the agenda items. We'll entertain anything for the good of Trumbull County from the public at this time. Yes, sir.
And I believe you have to put the name of the employees on here, don't you? Don't we have to put the name of the employees on? I believe we have to put the names of the employees.
Good morning, commissioners.
Better
My
put-
name,
Hold just a second, sir. Alexandra,
Ask that we only put the name of the department. And then also if it's public records requested, of course, we keep the documents on file, which has the name of the employee. And that can be released via public records request. Thank you very much, commissioners.
yes, sir.
morning, commissioners. My name is Donald Spencer, Trumbull County resident. I was here, attended last week. I'm here today in hand with petitions signed by Trumbull County residents, okay, for the WRTA fixed routes in Trumbull County, okay? And today with me, I have a total of, which I'm going to submit to the commissioners, a total of 282 signatures by Trumbull County residents. Okay? Another person that was not able to attend today's meeting, he also has petitions with 1,000 signatures on it, which I will be dropping off at a later date to the commissioner's office regarding this matter. Any questions?
No, sir.
You can present that to the clerk.
I'll make a motion from the floor to join WRTA pursuant to the language that the prosecutor has prepared back in 2021.
That dies without a second again. And again, I'm not paying $7 million of taxpayer increases when you have, when you fail to explore any other option.
Of allowing.
You voted no last week on even keeping 3 routes alive.
It's a.
Well,
matter-
we
no, it's a
put in
matter-
for a grant and you didn't want that. That's not good enough
It's
for you.
a matter of allowing the citizens to vote.
Citizens of
not-
Mahoning County.
Citizens
and
of
Trumbull
Mahoning
will not vote.
County, Mahoning County
You'll be
will,
outnumbered by Mahoning County
it
residents.
could fail
not
in
doing
Trumbull
that to our
County and
residents.
pass in
They-
Mahoning
they
County,
could
and it
decide
would
they don't-
still pass in Trumbull County.
Decide
Our
they don't wanna
destiny would be
include us.
decided by Mahoning County.
That's
Keep
not
that
gonna
in mind,
happen under
everyone.
our watch.
School boards, Senate districts and it's not our watch, it's the people's watch. And
You
we
should
just
better
make
spend
sure
your
we-
time working on other solutions and looking at other things than making your motion once a week and watching
Okay,
it
what
die.
was just passed to the clerk? There was something passed to the clerk. I'd like to see that.
280 signatures from his
Okay.
petition.
Okay, thank you.
Next, yes, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Brett Curry. I'm a resident of Trumbull County. I am here also with Don on the transportation issue here in Trumbull County. I would like to say that what we're trying to do as far as grants go is just putting a bandage over the problem.
Thank you.
Okay, the bottom line is Trumbull County has needed transportation. Don is a disabled vet. There's many disabled people, elderly people that can't get to stores. That can't go, people that can't go to work.
Right.
Yes, I understand the funding is a problem. But if you don't want the services to reach the rural areas of Trumbull County, that's up to you guys as commissioners to decide. You have 3 large cities. Warren is the largest. Niles is the second. Girard is the third. If you just want to service the bigger cities, then just charge those bigger cities the taxes. It's up to you, but the transportation problem,
Yeah.
the transportation problem needs to be fixed permanently, not on a temporary basis.
Just so you're aware, Mr. Curry, and I don't mean to interrupt, but just so you're aware, Trumbull County gives out close to 40,000 rides every year. What we provide. We're not mandated to provide any by statute, 0. We give out 40,000 rides to our seniors and disabled. So to say that we don't give rides out of the senior levy and out of the 5310,
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
you're talking about the senior and disabled.
correct.
And I'm talking about, there's people out there
General
right now
transportation.
losing their jobs that depended on the transportation to get
And we're,
to work.
Sir, you asked us to impose a tax only in the cities, Niles, Girard, and Warren.
I
We
said
don't have
that's
the
up
power
you.
to do that.
Okay.
The cities have to do that. The cities can impose a
and the
tax to
city,
pay
you
for
should be going to the
WRTA.
city councils and telling them to pony up money as well. We'll match the
We
money.
involve
We
county
will
sales
match the
tax.
money.
That's it, which is for
But
everybody.
to go
We
at
can't
it alone for the
discriminate
county, for
just
the
with
cities
cities.
that have their own governance,
This guy's out
That
here
should-
trying to
that
give a
should-
comment. Can you?
that should be the
please
first thing that needs-
We're not being disrespectful. We're clearing up the
I'm just
facts
clearing
with
up
this
the
gentleman.
facts.
He just asked if we can impose it just on the cities, and we
No,
can't.
I did not. It was not a question. These are statements,
Can you
okay?
finish Your statement.
No, I'm not.
Thank you. Can you guys please be quiet and let him finish the statement?
I would like to see, if you don't think that you could pass a levy or pass a tax by Trumbull County vote, then I think it's up to the commissioners to come up with a way to service and help these people.
That's what we're
the
trying to
elderly,
do right
the-
Doing
the-
every day.
The elderly, the disabled, because no, you are correct. They will take them to doctor's appointments. They won't take them to grocery stores. They won't take them to go someplace else that they need. They will take them to medical appointments because I've talked to some of the elderly and disabled, and you are correct there. But they will not take them to the grocery store and wait for them. Okay, people that need to get to work, the younger people that have jobs out here, they can't get to work anymore. You know, that these people are losing jobs, they're losing income, and they're hardworking people. You know, we need to take care of the residents in Trumbull County and show some love and compassion for them. Because I love the people in Trumbull County. I have compassion for them. I help as many people out here as I can. I do volunteer work here on Sunday, helping feed the homeless. You know, I care about the people in Trumbull County. Where is the love and compassion from these commissioners here for the people in Trumbull County to try to help them out? I just don't see it.
Sir,
And I would like to say, in ending my statement, I hope that you have my heartfelt words reach all of you. Please stop your arguing at every meeting and being politicians. Show some love and compassion for the people of this county. Do the right thing get permanent, reliable transportation here. Thank you.
Hello, Commissioners. First, I would like to apologize. This is my first time ever coming. I did not mean to be disrespectful to any of you when I asked that question. And apparently, I guess I need to do my due diligence.
We need your name also, please,
Oh,
for the
I'm sorry.
record.
My name is Tara. My name is Tara Cougar. As he said, love and compassion. As soon as we got here, you guys stood up, you said the pledge of allegiance to the flag. You know what that means. And then you said the Lord's Prayer. So if you really believe in that stuff, the bus system, I was homeless for 5 months. I stayed at the Christie House. And if it wasn't for the bus, I would have never got to where I was. I stayed at the homeless shelter on Martin Luther King. And I got a job at Altium Cell, making $900, I think a week, every 2 weeks. It was really good money, but I needed the bus, and it was very stressful because then I hear the bus system is going to stop, and it did, and people lost their jobs. Thank God I did finally get a home. I live in Girard, and I still need the bus because I don't have a car. My car, I got the job. My car broke down like 2 days after I got the job. And I was hustling, trying to get out there because, and everyone's like, why are you working so far from where you live? And I was like, well, I had a car, but I don't have one. And that bus system, when I tell you the people at the bus station, the bus drivers, I mean, I haven't caught the bus since I was like a little girl in Farrell, PA. Now I'm catching the bus. Bus drivers were fantastic. The people at the station, fantastic. And you're going to do it away with that. Not only that, you have young kids going to school. I'm getting ready to start school in September 18th, as a matter of fact. So I can get a job because I live in Girard. I have no car. I have to get a job right around there. It's very hard to get in Valorec. But I'm gonna get a job there, either there or St. Elizabeth. I got a job here in Trumbull, but it doesn't work out for me because of the bus. It's really needed. And it's people like me. Would you ever think I was homeless? I was. I catch the bus every day. I'm at the library. I catch this bus about 6, 7 times a day. I got my food stamps yesterday. I had to go shopping. I had to catch the bus. If I didn't have the bus, I wouldn't eat. It's like, and everything is very expensive. What am I going to sell my food stamps? The bus is very needed, not only for the elderly. You got young kids. I can't believe the young kids I see riding the bus. And you have a lot of people here from India going to school. You have a lot of Mexicans here. And I only seen this because I ride the bus. I mean, there's a lot of people that ride the bus. It's very well needed. And sir, you said something about Mahoney County. I didn't understand that because when I tell you, I wish I would have bought my paychecks. I was working out there at Altium Cell. Y'all was taking 3 taxes out of me. 3. I'm like, Lordstown tax, this tax is like, dang. So I don't understand.
Yeah,
Explain how this works.
She's talking.
Yeah.
I'll let her finish what she's saying, and then you can answer, just like you did with us.
So the way it works to have WRTA in Trumbull County is the Board of Commissioners would have to join WRTA. At the point where they join, then WRTA would put on the ballot a tax for everyone in WRTA's area to vote on to approve whether or not they're deciding to fund it for Trumbull County. So that would include the covered area that is Mahoney County, and it would also include Trumbull County. No different than a Senate district that includes multiple counties, or a school district that includes different perimeters. So that is how it would have to occur for us to be able to be funded and actually have the buses. We are the ones as a Board of Commissioners that would vote to join. If we don't join, then we can't get it put on the ballot. We wouldn't be putting it on a ballot. If we don't join though, then WRTA cannot put that area on the ballot in order to decide if it's going to be funded. It would be funded with a small sales tax, not a.
Well,
1/4 of our whole budget of what we operate on in the county for a whole year. 25% of our whole budget.
Okay.
is what it would be.
And the other thing that has not been widely publicized is the plan that WRTA had for Trumbull County. The plan that WRTA had for joining was not just these fixed routes. It included Brookfield, it included Vienna. There were multiple zones all over the county, and it also included on-demand services for every corner of Trumbull County to receive services. It would have also included a transit center, which would be like a larger bus station somewhere around.
They already have a bus station. They don't need no other bus
No,
station.
but that's what the plan would include. And would also include a vehicle barn here in Trumbull County so that we would have two different setups.
My
So-
thing, I don't understand how come you're supposed to be educated and you're supposed to know this stuff. If you go to New York, and I saw that you guys had bikes out there. If you go to New York, they have bikes. If you go to Cleveland, the lady, she rode the bus. I would love for one of you guys to just spend a day with me riding and catching a bus.
I did do
That
that.
lady, sir,
I did do that.
And I told you last week, I will ride it with you.
And I can.
and the
tell you
lady in
that
Cleveland, she rode the bus and she made a awesome bus center. Can we go up there and study what she did? Can we?
Well, Cleveland and Cuyahoga County is a different demographic than Trumbull County. That's the problem, is that you have a major metropolitan area there in the city of Cleveland. Over here, we have Warren, which is the county seat. But if you look at the rest of the county, it's large and it's mostly rural. That's the problem. And the people outside of the urban areas, and they're not that big, outside of the urban areas, don't want to pay this tax.
You don't.
So
we
we
don't know that.
rep-
We
can-
would know that when we vote. So I believe we
You
need to. take
keep
it
talking
into
about
account.
interrupting people, but you
Right, but
continually
you
interrupt
said
me.
Something incorrect. I'm sorry, it just pains me.
It pains me that you won't let me speak. God's sake. Secondly, if we put this on the ballot, Trumbull County does not control its own destiny. In other words, it would be on for Trumbull and Mahoning County. That means if Mahoning County passes the tax and Trumbull County residents vote no overwhelmingly, or just by a slim margin, it still passes.
Who's voting no?
Let's.
Who's
Mean
voting no?
voting no against the bus system, against the taxes? Who?
Every survey, Tara, every survey we've done countywide, even the Tribune, 70% of the people that responded said they didn't want it.
And the Township Association in Trumbull County resoundingly, unanimously said they would not vote for the tax. They don't want it.
That's all the townships we have.
So we
So-
got to look at the city of Warren, but we also got to look at the county as a whole. We represent the entire county. So my proposal was go to the city of Niles, go to the city of Warren, ourselves, whatever they're willing to pony up, we'll match. But the city's got to have a stake in this. The cities are responsible for the majority of the transportation. We can't go to the townships and say, hey, we're going to raise your taxes so that these people living in the city are going to benefit. We got to
Okay, so then
represent
my
all of it.
question to you is, what do I need to do?
Let me explain something that was inaccurate. So there's a township association and there are maybe 20 people there who.
Represent their township.
Maybe 20 people?
At that vote, I don't know how many people voted that night, but it wasn't some townships don't even go. I could tell you that the Howland Township actually sent us a letter and
Is
supported.
Howland part of your township?
Okay, he's muddying this up. I just want you to understand.
Okay, okay, so I'm just gonna keep it like this. Okay, so I wouldn't be here if it didn't affect me, and it affects me now. Okay, so I've worked at the nursing homes. The buses go to the nursing homes. The buses go to the manufacturing places. The busing goes to guys that have just got out of prison. I mean, you got all these people that you want to have jobs and they all pay taxes. You take the bus away and the guys that just got out of prison, the women in the nursing homes, manufacturing, we have kids. If you're down on your lowest, you have nothing to lose. So if I have nothing to lose and I'm trying my hardest to get to work, to do my job, what do you think I'm going to do?
Move.
Crime? No,
But no, but that's a problem.
it's crime. It's a whole infrastructure.
I
And I don't understand why we can't fix this. You take out a lot of taxes.
I don't disagree with you. I agree with you. I've been trying to put this on the agenda in order for us to join WRTA to let the public vote since I took office in 2021. As soon as I took office, we had WRTA present us with a plan, but there are a lot of special interests going around and different individual vendors that support politicians and things like that. Even at the local level, we see this. And what we need to do is get our heads out of our behinds and realize that it should be up to the people in Trumbull County to vote. If you're so confident that the people would be voting no, then join and put it on the ballot.
And
let
then
me-
who-
Commissioner, you're trying to force feed.
WRTA all this power. You have
Right.
people like me. Give me a Uber. Give me a car. I can
Right.
do my
Tara,
own
do you,
Uber.
do you care if it's WRTA takes you to work or if it's an
No,
Uber?
I just
Just
want
so you get to work, right?
Exactly.
one time.
So why can't we
That's it.
explore all the options? Why are you trying
There's
to
other
force feed
options. Yes.
WRTA down the throats of? our
That's what we're
taxpayers
doing right
Need some
now.
every
money.
day?
And I'll have a whole Uber system.
You have no other alternatives but WRTA. You're a cheerleader for WRTA. There are other options. We're wasting time. WRTA, if we join today, we can't even get you a bus until December. The routes are already fixed until December. So
No.
you're still nothing for September, October, November, December. You're still not going to work on WRTA bus, even if we voted for this thing today. We could find alternatives if we roll our sleeves up and actually do it. You are one track
Yes,
minded.
sir.
It's
I totally
WRTA
agree.
or bus.
I totally agree, Mr.
You have
Malloy.
all your eggs
Absolutely.
in the WRTA basket. There are other programs out there I would like to explore, and let's
Oh,
see.
okay.
I believe it. I believe a Trumbull County Uber would work. We've talked to the people that provide rides for the seniors and the veterans and the
And Miss
handicap.
Frenchico, you're saying no. How do you know
Let
it
me-
won't work?
If he'll be quiet, then I can explain that, because I understand the funding. The reason why I got involved with running even for seeking office is because I saw the things that were going on that were terrible with our Trumbull Transit Board when I was working on the senior levy and I was the chairperson of the transit.
I think
transport-
WRTA wound you up and pointed you in our direction.
So as I was saying, there is money that can be used. There's money that's for seniors and disabled, and there's money that is for the general public. The general public money can only go to WRTA, and there are very specific ways it could be spent. There has to be proper procurement. There has to be drug and alcohol testing and policies. There's
What does
so
that have
hang
to do
on.
with?
That
making
doesn't
it
have,
work?
that has to do, that has to do with
Nothing to do
WRTA
it
though.
work.
The funding that comes through that we are missing. So Trumbull County is missing a lot of money because we have not joined. So since we're not a part of WRTA, we are not able to access that money. That money comes with certain requirements.
So you're on a different schedule than me.
Sure.
I'm
me-
just worried about getting.
right.
Let me tell you
Exactly.
something. Let me make a statement. Hold on.
Shopping.
Money for Ubers is what I'm saying.
Hold on. Commissioner, you were making public transportation WRTA all about you. Tara, this public transportation is 100% all about you. You walked in
Absolutely.
this office a couple weeks ago and met with me. You are the face of this problem we have. And I told you that. I admire you. I honor you for being here.
What do you mean? I am the face.
You are the face. You are the bus rider.
I
You are the
am. I
person that
need
is
this bus.
underserved.
When I
right
leave
now.
here, I'm gonna have to go out there and wait for that bus. And I'm gonna have to finish
I
my day and I'm gonna be catching
She's our
buses
biggest
everywhere.
spokesperson.
I
You're up
mean,
here
I
degrading
need
her,
this
talking
bus.
down to her
No,
when
no.
she should be the person right up front that's leading the charge with this stuff in all of our meetings. We have rides for seniors. We have rides for elderly. We have a way to get veterans. We have people in JFS that have a ride. We don't have a way for you to get to work. You're the missing void right now. And everything you're saying, we should be listening with 6 ears up here, not 4 ears or 2 ears. All of us should be listening to what you have to say and make a pledge to find a way that you and everybody that is represented, that you're representing here today, has a way to get to work. That's what we need to do. Not this bickering, not this WRTA. Let's just find a solution between us.
Speak with me afterwards and I could show you the funding and the plan and how all of this works.
He has told you everything that I have to say. I
I would
mean,
like you to be aware. If you give me your email, I could even forward you the plan that shows the funding mechanisms and everything, because I'm concerned.
well, evidently they're not using their money right.
Who?
WRTA, I mean,
WRTA has $22 million in their coffers, okay? $22 million, and they refuse to fund some of these routes for us.
This is ridiculous.
They want our money.
They have our money. They want our.
They're getting a
tax
new
money.
building. They're getting a new thing in Youngstown. They're not
and
worried
we-
about.
and
the
they don't
people in
need a new
Trumbull.
building. I mean.
No. We don't need a $7 million tax. We need about a $2 million to $3 million system. I am not going to overpay for a system just for them to have routes that go into nowhere.
Are you paying what?
And Commissioner Kane Lisa said it earlier, with
I-
$7 million,
taxing people.
we can give you a ride to Altium every day in a limousine.
You
We
can-
Still
could.
have money left over for $7 million.
Well, if
I
you
think
lose-
all
I
of
don't like
you-
overpaying for things. I don't like overpaying for things. I know you don't. I don't like going to ask people for more money. My pledge to you is we're going to get you to work and we're going to change this transportation system
And I
without
don't-
going into people's.
I don't want
pockets.
any
That's
more
what we're
money
gonna
coming out
do.
of your paycheck.
Person at
I don't want you to go to the
jail,
store and
you
pay any
haven't
more
done anything
taxes.
in
We
2
can do
years.
this
We've had the
without.
routes from WRTA given to us. What are you talking about?
We have known that these routes were going to end.
And we've
years
been
ago.
hijacked. They've been holding for ransom, like a drug dealer. WRTA gave us the route. They got us
Now they're
hooked and
taking
now
it
they
away.
took it away and they want us to pay for it now. So we're all going from
I'd like
pills
to
to
explain it
heroin
to you
because
without-
of that. I'm not going to be bullied by them.
I'd like to be able to explain it without interruption because I actually know the
Well,
topic.
if you would like to, I would, but I thank all four of you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Tara, I definitely want you involved in whatever we do. I want you at the meetings. I want you to represent at the meetings. Thank you. Anybody
So
else
my-
from the crowd
what
for
I-
the good?
What I want to explain is the routes that were there for the couple of years where we were aware that they were going to be ending. They were funded with OTPP money and they were only temporary. After we disbanded our local transit board and the designated recipient then was eliminated from the city of Warren, then.
Well, the
it
previous
reverted back-
transit board didn't take people to work either.
Let me explain.
He didn't take
And
people
it-
that weren't seniors or veterans. So don't you
it re-
compare.
It reverted back to WRTA. And at that point in time, the state and the federal government, the FTA had a plan in place to work with the state to give a bridge, basically. So that those services that we had were a bridge in order for us to be able to join.
A
and
bridge
develop-
for who?
And in order for the county to be able to join WRTA, and then how, if it was funded, then the funds would come in and then it would be expanded, then the routes would happen. They
That's not true.
cannot continue, the state of
lie.
Ohio is not going to continue to fund Trumbull County when Trumbull County won't help themselves.
3 years ago,
State of
3 years ago,
Ohio.
there was nobody taking Tara to work. There was no WRTA. There was no experimental thing. For the past years before that, nobody cared about the people that needed to get to work.
Terry Thomas and community busing.
What did he
they-
do? Did he give people rides to work that were underage, that were under 60?
they were
It
getting
had nothing to do with
Let me
it.
explain. They were actually getting millions of dollars. He was getting millions of dollars, which is 5307 money.
Right. The
it's
same
for
money that
every-
we get now that provides rides for our seniors
That's
and for
incorrect.
our handicap.
No. you're
We don't
wrong.
get 53, we get the 5310 money now is what we get.
So back before, the transit board was receiving 5307 money for the general public and they were perpetrating some kind of a scam against the.
And it cost the commissioners $400,000 back then. We're paying 1.2 million now out of your tax money
Can-
for lesser service.
Are there and talk so I can have a full 2 minutes uninterrupted.
No, you got 2 minutes uninterrupted if you tell the truth.
So at at that point in time, it was 5307 money for the general public was going to the transit board. And the community busing was allegedly providing an on-demand service to the public. But instead of providing those rides, when they were calling in, they were telling them they had to call in the next week and the next week until they stopped. So the name of their game was provide few rides and get a bigger profit margin. So at that time, they were getting federal match money to provide countywide general public rides, but they weren't doing it. And they weren't doing it well. So the federal government stepped in and the inspector general, who I called from Chicago, and all of that was, they ended up ultimately being disbanded and being deemed unfundable, and then they were disbanded when they
Disbanded
were-
by who? By the commissioners.
by the commissioners.
Okay, and at that time,
That's when I won.
at that
and
time, what happened in the audit?
The reason they were.
We had to
being-
pay him more money because during the audit, they found out that we weren't paying him enough. That vendor was correct.
So
So you disbanded something that wasn't broken at the time out of your own venomous hate for one individual that ran the company. And you
the
said
county had to
WRTA
pay
said-
$400,000 to the company.
You jumped
For
teams.
rides that you
jumped
said they did
teams
not
and you went to
provide, that
WRTA.
the FTA
You've been
said they
flying that
actually
flag
did
ever
provide.
since.
So
It's a-
so he acknowledged that there were no rides being performed 2 years ago. That's
Correct.
because the person getting paid the millions of dollars to provide those rides wasn't providing them. So it was a broken system. We ended up disbanding and the federal FTA, our representative there, along with ODOT, came up with a temporary solution, and that was the OTPP money that carried us for 2 years in order to give us a chance to help ourselves. And since the Trumbull County Board of Commissioners, the two that I work with, wouldn't join, then they finally decided that they were going to stop the money. And I knew this was coming, and so did the board. And if they didn't know, I
The
can't speak for
The
them.
state is not pressuring Trumbull County to join WRTA. That's a falsehood.
Not at all.
The state wants us to provide transportation however we can. That's what they want. So for you to say they gave us these routes so that we joined WRTA, that was not the case. That was not the case at all. They gave us those routes to check, to see where the transportation was needed and to look at hard numbers so that we can account for a transportation system that tailor makes Trumbull County, that's tailor made for Trumbull County. Not to say, we need you to join
I was in
WRTA.
contact with them on a
Again, you're
regular
interrupting.
basis. Okay, just please don't tell things that aren't true. So I was involved with it on a daily.
So the
basis
state came to us
on-
and said, you have to do WRTA.
No, that's
Commissioners,
a
is that what you're
falsehood.
saying?
False.
That's what you just said. Is that what they said? Who in the
No.
state said that? Who in the state, who'd you talk to? You talked to all these people? Was it ODOT that told you that? Was it Governor Mike DeWine? Who told you that we had to join WRTA?
No one.
Anybody?
This
I
is
didn't think so.
ridiculous. Yeah. He might know, but
You like to throw grenades out there and the grenades just pop and don't blow up.
I know this stuff inside and out, and I understand that you used to have your.
I understand. I understand too that
You're closely connected with Terry Thomas, and we get that.
I'm closely connected with all of the transportation people we have here because I go to the meetings. I attend them. I do research on how we could do better. Yes, sir. Mr. Plant, can you grab him the microphone, please? Thank you. I just want to make sure everybody can hear you because I know you're gonna have something good.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Okay, a couple things real quick. Commissioner Frenchco. And please let me try not to interrupt. I was in those meetings with you with the Trumbull board meeting at the education building, and I saw what you saw. I saw a lot of that, but here's the other side of the coin from where I sit. And I don't know the details like you guys do. I don't. And I don't really want to know, but this is what I do see. If you give community bus services had a lot of power in this county. They ran everything and they took advantage of it. My fear is, one of my fears is if we give similar power to that, similar power to WRTA, I have a fear that with power brings corruption. I'm worried that we are then held ransom by WRTA. They're a great organization. Do not get me wrong. Their drivers are fabulous. Their vehicles are fabulous. I've been riding them for 6 years. They're 100 times better than community bus services from my perspective. But I do worry about the fact that if we throw all that money at them or give them all that money, that they could hold us the way community bus service held us for a long time. And hang on a second. I understand where you're coming from. I really do. I was in those meetings with you. And I rode those buses and I saw what community bus services did. WRTA is much different. I just worry that if we give them too much, they're going to take advantage of that. That's number one. Number two, Commissioner, I showed you a sheet earlier, and I'd like to give you all a copy of it. I work as an information and referral specialist for my organization, and we help the disabled, we help the elderly, we help what I call the black hole, the young people that are injured or in repair that we don't pay attention to like we should. But so I call it the black hole, and I was in the black hole for a while. I did get rides going to work when I was under 60 through public transportation. So part of my job is to investigate, and I investigate a lot of transportation stuff. I got a hold of Columbiana County. They have a fabulous little sheet that they put out for their residents that explains how to get rides, who to call, So they disseminate the information out to the public and it works terrific for them. It really does, because that's half your battle. These people have to learn who to call. And so I have a sheet. If you guys want to look at it, shred it. I don't care, but it's something that I did pick up. In regard to you investigating other alternatives, and I love the idea. You have a big pie, you need to slice it up in a bunch of ways. You can't give one person half the pie. You got to cut it up, I think. There is an organization in Montana that one of my fellow employees went to. It was in Missoula, Montana. No, not Missoula. It was in Montana, and they have a toolkit for how to handle rural areas with public transportation, and it's extensive. And I'll be more than happy. I was hoping Mr. Salamone was going to be here
At a conference
so I
right
could
now.
show it to him. Pardon me?
He's at a conference today. That's
Yeah,
why he's not
I'll talk to him later and maybe he'll want to look at it, or I'll shoot him an email to look at it, but it is pretty detailed. And they explain how they did a seminar on how to connect our rural communities, because that's part of your concerns. How do we get out to the rural?
Plan the WRTA had. It's an entire plan. If you have an email address, please give it.
Could
to
you
me.
please not let him
Yeah.
finish and not talk about WRTA for 5 minutes?
I want you to know that you're talking about something that.
You were tainting WRTA so
broken
bad
record.
in my mind right now.
Come on now, please. You maybe lose my, maybe
Sorry
lose
for
my
that.
train. No, that's okay. And then finally, and I have to, I just have to say this publicly. After I attended the workshop last week, I was interviewed by Channel 21, Sydney at 2021. I had no idea who she was. And I explained to her what my situation was and the potential pitfalls that I would go through as far as going to work, as far as all of that. And I want the commission to know, and I want it to be on record that Comfort Caravan was able to get me to work twice a day and enable me to get here once a week. Or not twice a day, twice a week, and then get to here once a week. So communities bus Comfort Caravan actually fulfilled what my requests were. I can't say everybody's going to get that opportunity, because I think the senior levy program is going to get whacked really hard from all of this. They're going to I think the ripple effect is going to really affect them. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, just to add to that, and before I forget, this is a valid point. We are identifying a lot of those individuals that have ridden the bus that need to get to work. And Mike Salamone has already reached out to some of these companies. The commissioners are able to put in general fund money. We're putting our money where our mouth is to get these people to work
Right.
without putting a sales tax on.
And they have
So we are
all offered to do that.
We are utilizing Comfort Caravan. We're utilizing Garwin. We're utilizing the services that we already have in place. By the way, there's 3 different ones. So competition breeds lower prices, as you mentioned, as you know, in business.
Commissioner
So-
Cantalasa, I'd like to request, I know we had a transportation board and we disbanded it, but I would like to have an advisory board that we start here today. I'd like Mr. Joseph to be on it. I'd like Tara to be on it. And I'd like to bring the Comfort Care and the other people that are already
I
providers.
think it's a great
to
idea.
one meeting where we can actually roll the sleeves up and say, let's look at solutions. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do? What's the price? And let's form an advisory of the peers of the people that use this thing and actually get some solutions.
I'm not opposed to that. I think that's a great idea.
And that would, I agree.
you
was
do that?
I think that was absolute. Yeah.
Tara?
Thank you.
I think that was one. Hang on one second, please.
No,
sorry.
I'm sorry. He just made a discussion. It's a Board of Commissioners meeting, no disrespect. So the concern that I have with what you just suggested is that even last week or the week before, when Commissioner Cantalamessa was discussing, he had already talked to a provider about what they wanted to, what they were able to do.
it is pre-award contact. I mean, we are.
We did that
In a
we
public
did that in a
meeting.
public meeting.
It
And he
doesn't-
said he'd be willing to step up with his company and help out and to make
This is a separate
these
thing
people
from the
get to work.
contract. This is
Again,
separate from the contract.
Again, my concern.
This is not senior levy
is
money,
that
it's
you're-
general fund
I'm
money.
not talking about that. I'm talking about ethics, something that you might not understand. We should not be, as commissioners, going and talking to people who don't.
Did you talk to WRTA? Who gave you that packet? How many times have you met with Dean Harris?
Again,
Do we need to do
It's
records requests
absolutely
for that?
laughable. He was at our
You're
public
telling us we
meeting. You're
can't talk
talking
to a
about
provider.
something that's outside the scope of the
The
contract.
commissioners are going to, I think that there's an ethical problem when the commissioners are going to people who are vendors and potential vendors who give them donations and campaign contributions and asking and talking to them about providing services. That is just, I just want to.
Came to a public meeting
Okay.
That's what we're saying.
They
We're
came
gonna
to
have
a
a public
public
meeting with
meeting
this. That was done in a
and
public
addressed
meeting.
it at a public meeting. And it's not the same contract. It's not senior levy
Wasn't
dollars.
even
It's
at a public
general
meeting,
fund
since
money.
You had a conversation.
You got
with them.
WRTA on speed dial and you're talking to us about we can't talk to a
We're
provider?
trying to find solutions
You
here.
can't
for
find
God's
an
sake.
answer? Come on.
There, you've had years for that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
We've already had one.
That's all right. I'm gonna let him speak again. The veteran gets to speak again.
Yes, I just want to make a comment, okay? As of right now, I am using Comfort Caravan through senior levy transportation, okay, to get to my medical appointment, okay? And I only do 3 days a week down at the Warren Scope Senior Center doing wellness check calls. I call our members up and that to see how they're doing, if they need any assistance with their like insurance or rides to medical appointments and that. And it was just yesterday I found out that Comfort Caravan will only give me one non-medical trip a week. Okay. If maybe the commissioners could talk to them
That's
and
what we were doing.
That's exactly.
That's exactly what we're
on here.
doing.
say, hey, there's sometimes people have to get there, only like 3 days a week because I'm on disability right now. I can only do so many hours a week. Okay. I only do 15 hours a week down there at the Warren Scope Senior Center. See if they could provide. I go on usually Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursday mornings to do my wellness check calls. But
These are the gaps that we're trying to fill. So you're getting the service for some things through Comfort Caravan. Through these other ancillary things, we're willing to pony up general fund money as opposed to going to the people and asking for a tax. We just need to know this.
General fund money.
Of course,
Okay, so.
you want to
again-
go into other people's
so
money.
Again, take.
I'll go into our own pockets before I reach my hand in the
Again,
taxpayer
you
pockets.
Said you've already talked to them about changing their scope of services.
No.
They already.
Mike
No,
Salamone brought that
that's
up at the
senior
public
levy.
hearing that we
That's
had.
senior levy
Exactly,
funding.
and you're getting rides already through senior levy, and they've already been determined. They can't just go back and change
It
the
would be a
scope of service.
separate thing. It wouldn't be through senior levy funding. It would be through general funding. It's totally
So
different.
you're already picking who you want to.
No, we're saying we're gonna bring everybody to the table that has an
We're
interest.
talking about
We'll have
these
a public
needs that
meeting and
people
have people
have. We
come
can
that
have a
want.
public meeting. Whatever we do to address this.
There might be Joe's Taxi Service
don't
or
know why you don't wanna
Bob's
address it.
Shuttle that we don't even know about yet. If we don't ask, we're not gonna find out.
You
and
do a proper procurement. If that's what your intention is, then you do a proper procurement. You don't
We're
just
not
go
at
out and
that
talk to
point
people who
yet.
donate to you.
Are you worried about throwing roadblocks up so we can't get service to the people? Or are you worried about finding a solution?
Either a part of the problem or a part of the solution. One of the two.
Been the problem.
That's you. That's
and
you.
No, she has a solution, WRTA.
You have, the solution is $7 million in other people's money. That's your solution.
and one last thing, commissioners.
Money,
Let
isn't
him
it?
speak.
Absolutely. But I'd rather not go tax them more. You do.
No, that's not.
Yes,
One
sir.
last thing, commissioners. This advisory board, okay? I would be willing also to
Absolutely.
be on it.
After the meeting, we'll get the information from the three of you. Tomorrow, we'll schedule a meeting for sometime in the next week, and let's get this thing rolling right away. Sarah, you have one more thing to say? Is it okay, Mr. Glenn, if she continues while we're on this topic?
I'm gonna make it short. This is the place where it has Ultium Cell, the biggest battery plant, GM Lordstown. You guys can't get with them instead of using WRTA, because that gentleman is right.
Last
Grid
week,
Yeah, we've
corruption.
identified.
last week we
Not
sent our
just one
transportation director
person,
to Altium.
everything. People get greedy, there is corruption.
Okay, it sounds like someone has had a conversation.
No,
with
I
people.
have not had,
Okay.
no, I just listened to what he
Corrupt-
said. and-
WRTA corrupt?
Oh,
Did
if you
did
get,
go on the
if you,
record and say that?
say I'm a top dog, I'm a boss. And I got everything, everybody has to come to me.
These two do.
I'm gonna be greedy.
That's the-
It's human nature.
WRTA
So you have to divide things up. You got Lordstown, you got GM, and you got Altium Cells. And then the buses was talking about not even having drivers, using whatever, the new technology that we have. So why give one person one thing? Altium Cell, battery plant, GM Lordstown, Uber people like me that need jobs. Divide the pie, just
You
like
need
you
a
said.
You
hybrid
could find competition to compete against WRTA that may have better rates for our citizens.
We don't have the access to funding that they would be able to get through federal funds. So I don't know if anyone's not.
So the
absorbing
battery
that,
plant
but-
isn't willing to do anything.
No, we
It's an
sent our
up-and-coming battery
transportation
plant.
director to Lordstown and Altium specifically to take care of you and the other 10 workers to see what they can do. They're in talks as we speak. They're in negotiations back and forth to come up with a plan of a public-private cost share to make sure people like you get a ride. And this could happen any day. She wants something that let's go join this thing and next year you vote on it. No, it's not happening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Glenn.
Okay, no, it. Finish. Go.
Ma'am, that was brought up last week. I believe I brought it up and Ms. Frenchco laughed at it to get with the businesses in Lordstown. There's not only Altium, there's Home Goods, there's Anderson Dubois. There's a lot of businesses out there. And if you don't talk to them, you don't know if they want to contribute or cost share. I'd like to bring up number 7. I was here a couple years ago when the bridge report garnered $232,000. I've never seen a report on which bridge is the worst in Trumbull County. So I'd like to ask that when you guys vote on this bridge, to have whoever does the inspections come to a public meeting and let us, the public, the taxpayers, know which bridges need the most attention out of all in Trumbull County. I'm sure there's a ton of them, or the engineer, whoever. One question I'd like to ask is, I don't know for sure, but is WRTA the vendor and we as Trumbull County, are we the customer?
If we were to join,
Are they selling us a product? Are they trying to
Correct.
sell us a product?
yes, a service.
Okay, so we need to work with them.
That's not correct. The WRTA.
Thank you, Mr. Malloy.
Okay,
I
WRTA,
don't interrupt you.
you just
This
have,
is my time to speak, ma'am. If you would like to rebut after that, I would welcome listening, but while I'm speaking, zip it.
okay, you asked a question and he answered it incorrectly and I'm answering it correctly for you. WRTA is not a vendor. They are a quasi-governmental entity. They are recipients of federal funds based on their designation. They are not a vendor. So I.
And then,
cannot-
so are they
rides
going to
are
receive
free?
county funds? Are they requesting county funds from us?
They sure are.
It makes it sound like we're the customer.
Can't make you understand things. So, but I just explained it. Sorry.
Maybe they'll have a position for you in 2024.
All I want to say is communication is the key. As far as I'm concerned, people that ride the bus, that need the bus, should also have to pay for the bus. I don't know how much they would charge, but to me, they're trying to sell us a product. If we don't agree on the stipulations to them, their product, then they should have to come back to us with a better plan. One that serves our needs better, not just, and it wasn't brought up that Mahoning County would have the majority of seats on a board that votes. And we could get backdoored on that also. Thank you.
Okay, so I want to bring up that one of the companies that's out there in Lordstown actually located there because there was a bus. So that's.
Yeah, that's why
that
they
Go
located.
back to, that was one of the things that it was, and that they were aware of. And then as far as the bridges go, the county engineer has an annual meeting where all of the information is available for inspection. He has all the reports, everything is there. I'd like to invite anyone to the public. It's an annual public meeting where you could have the opportunity to talk to the engineer, the deputy engineer, and review everything and every report that they have there for inspection.
I don't know if you're the one that could invite them, but
It's a public.
When is
meeting,
it?
And we vote on it. So
When is it? You just invited them to it. When is it?
it's in the spring and it's on our agenda, and you were probably at the meeting when it was on our agenda because the Board of Commissioners approves the annual meeting. It's a statutory thing, so.
But they can request it probably at any time if you wanted to.
But
Freedom of information, I'm sure he could.
Let you know that that's also something because.
you gotta wait till next year.
I'm sure they would be very accommodating if you called and asked for it. Anybody else have anything for the greater good of Trumbull County? Yes, sir.
My name is Bob Plant. I'm a resident of Warren and Trumbull County. Just have a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to thank Mrs. Yoder, Tim Hannaford, and Mike Salamone for being very prompt in answering my records requests. Doesn't happen very often here. Second, I'd like to thank Commissioner Cantala Mesa, Commissioner Malloy for being good stewards of our tax dollars. Last, are you going to answer my records request, Frenchco? At least have the decency to deny them if you won't answer them. My last thing, after the meeting today, a bunch of us are going to Enzo's for lunch if you'd care to join us.
Anybody else have anything for the greater good of Trumbull County? Okay, how about the phone lines? If there's anybody on the line, you can hit *6 and unmute yourself. Announce your name, please.
Yeah, my name is Debbie.
Go ahead, Debbie.
Yeah, I'm a resident of Trumbull County, and I just had a quick question. How much is Miss Frenchco
Yep.
getting paid for every time she says WRTA?
Let's get your name and where you're from. You said your name was Debbie?
Yeah, I'm from Trumbull County.
Okay. What's your last name, Debbie, for the record? We have to have that.
Debbie Travis.
Okay.
Debbie, what? She didn't hear. The clerk didn't hear.
One more time, Debbie.
Debbie Travis.
Travis.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead with your comment again.
I just
Sorry to
wanted
interrupt
to know how much Miss Frenchco's getting paid to say WRTA.
I wondered that myself, Debbie, but that's a good question. Anything else?
I've not solicited or received any donations from anyone from any of our transportation providers. However, every time Commissioner Cantala Mesa
Patricia Wyatt now. I just wanted to say
mentions the ones that he mentions, there are donations.
Miss Frenchco get up and walk around, and Commissioner Malloy was honoring the lady that just passed away in the county. How rude she was walking around when they were in prayer.
I didn't hear.
I didn't hear that either.
I think she's.
Okay,
I think
next
I'm
caller,
going
go ahead and
office to get my glasses, but okay.
next caller, go ahead and announce your name and where you're from clearly, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Go ahead, ma'am.
This is Patricia Wyatt from Niles. I just want to say to Miss Frenchco how disrespectful that was of you when Commissioner Malloy was honoring the lady that passed away in the Clerk of Courts, and you got up and was walking around when he was talking and when they were in a moment of prayer for her. You were so disrespectful. And I want to know how some people can get up and talk over 2 minutes, and some people, she's always saying, your 2 minutes are up, your 2 minutes are up. That's all I got to say. You were very disrespectful to that family walking around when they were in prayer for her.
I didn't know
Okay, next-
anything. I didn't know that Commissioner Malloy was adding that onto the agenda, and I had already gotten up to get my glasses. I apologize.
Very good. Okay, next caller.
Yes, can you hear? This
Yes,
is Dave.
yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Hello?
What's the name?
Dave Merkin from Comfort Caravan.
Yes, sir.
And I just wanted to kind of clear up a couple things. The one gentleman spoke and said that there was not transportation for seniors and non-medical. And as it's come up since, that we are, as a provider through the senior levy, allowed to provide one non-medical trip per week.
Okay.
So that has always been available. Now, the veteran who spoke a few minutes ago mentioned about going to work. Under the disabled part of this program, we take disabled people to work every day. So just because you're over 60 doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to get the benefit of the disabled in going to work. I'm sure Mike Salamone would go along with that. We would be happy to provide that transportation. So disabled, we can take to work every day. That doesn't matter if medical or non-medical.
Thank you.
I
Okay,
think
that does clear things up and help, because sir, you said they give you one ride. You can
The
get every
one
day.
ride, I'm thinking, well, and Mr. Joseph spoke before. We took Mr. Joseph many times to work, more than once a week. We're doing that quite often. The things that we can do for people non-medical, we can take them to the grocery store, we can take them to different appointments or so on. But the senior levy only allows one time a week for those types of things. As far as work goes, that's a whole different approach.
Thank you, Mr. Merkin. We appreciate your input.
Not a
So-
problem. And we would be, as a representative of the other providers, we surely welcome the idea that Commissioner Malloy had about an advisory committee, and we surely would participate in that.
Thank you. Sorry, what he was saying was he can take you to work 3 days a week, and it's not not a problem. Right.
Well, if I may say, what we need to do is, I assume that you're listed, we get a list almost 2 or 3 times a week.
Point
of
of,
who
point
is-
of order, point of order. This is a commissioners meeting. We need to not be having members of the public comment to other members of the public. Please control the meeting, Mr. Chairman. If anyone needs. to
To
communicate
solve an
that-
issue here.
And
Okay,
it is to be,
I'm
the
just,
chair is to
please
be
don't be
addressed.
disrespectful. I'm
The ch-
speaking here.
The chair is to be addressed. If anyone needs to
Okay.
communicate with someone in order to resolve a problem, we'll make sure, the Board of Commissioners will make sure you have the information to contact them after the meeting.
Okay, now that you're done, if you contact Mr. Salamone, you will be able.
This is
He's allowed to
Someone
answer a
let-
question for the good of the public.
order of the
He's
day.
giving information to the public.
Order of the
Go ahead,
day.
Mr. Merkin, continue.
It's different, and it goes by.
What we can
this is
do
why-
is get you listed also on the disabled
You know
program,
how to run a meeting.
in which case you would be eligible to get to work each day.
I'm calling for an order of the day.
Thank you, Commissioner Frenchco. I appreciate your concern.
Order of the day.
Okay. That was good information. Call Mr. Salamone if you need to get to work and you're disabled 5 days a week if you need it.
Meetings, I will.
Okay, any other callers on the line? Star 6.
Adjourn.
There's maybe callers on the line here. Hello,
Yes,
hello?
your name and where you're from,
You hear
sir.
me?
Yes, name and where you're from.
Trumbull County resident.
A little clearer, sir.
Sean
You're
Shook.
garbled.
Sean Shook, Trumbull County resident.
Okay,
Vote
Go ahead.
French go out. Vote French go out in March of 2024 primary. Vote her out, guys. Thank you.
Any other callers? Hit *6.
Hello,
Yes, name and where you're from.
Christine Glenn, Trumbull County. Now that we've finally heard from the grandstander for hours on her personal agendas, I would like to comment on, I'm not sure which agenda item it was, but when they were discussing, renaming the bridge in Cortland for the 2 deceased veterans, how very disrespectful she was during that time, because it always ends up being about her. The comments by Commissioner Cantala Mesa about how good and reverent this was, and how respectful this choice to rename the bridge was. And when Commissioner Malloy brought up that she doesn't attend certain meetings, it went back to her and her and her as usual, and her excuses about not attending. And she swears that she's a veteran, which I've yet to see or believe. But if you're such a dedicated veteran and respectful, then why would you turn around on an agenda item that was supposed to just straight be voted for and not be disrespected by your comments? Then you are as false and phony as you always have been. Thank you.
Anyone else on the line? *6. Okay, with that, Mr.
Make a motion
Joseph,
to make a-
Mr. Joseph had one more
Oh.
comment.
Apologize. You are our civic leaders. We should address you as commissioners. You are our commissioners. We voted you in. And I just apologize for the way we respond to you and how badly we mistreat you. I'm not apologizing for you. I'm apologizing
All right.
for our public. These people, we voted them in. We asked them to do a job. They're doing the best they can. If you think you can do better, get up there, but don't. Okay.
Well, sir, I would say this though. I appreciate that. But yeah, they call us commissioner. We are elected, but we still need to earn the title every day by the service we give to you. And
I
if we give you a
appreciate
lack of service, and if we argue and we do stuff like this, and you call us out on it, that's expected. I want to be held accountable by that. And if any of our actions are wrong, by all means, you don't have to apologize for not respecting us the same way we respect you.
I guess I was raised differently. You deserve our respect until
We need to lead by example, the three of us.
I agree with you and thank you.
Run a meeting because that will help. Thank you.
I'm sorry, guys. I really am.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anybody else for the greater good? One thing that I wanted to bring up for the greater good is this Saturday from 4 to 8, there is a Trumbull County Historical Society has their Oktoberfest on the square. There is an admission fee with that, but you can get a hold of the Trumbull County Historical Society for information. Call our office, and we have the flyer for it. It is from 4 to 8. They're going to have grape stomping, children activities, German food, traditional tapping of the keg, music, and it's in cooperation with Modern Methods and some other local community leaders.
Sponsor.
So I would ask that everybody look into that. It'd be a kind of a neat little time
It's
to
fun.
celebrate the Oktoberfest and German heritage.
It's a great event, and the purpose of that is to
She
support
mentioned
the-
she's a sponsor.
It's to support the historical society.
So that is, it's not just a party, it goes to a really wonderful cause and it actually is a good time. So
Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
yes.
Thank you.